Hi, welcome to our channel. In this video, we will be covering obesity causes and effects in general. First of all, let us tell you a very important fact, that is, if you are living with obesity, and you just reduce 5% of current weight, by implementing the health tips, and some easy methods, in this video series, then, you can reduce a sizable risk of developing many health issues related to obesity. We have carefully created a series of videos about dealing with obesity, a step-by-step approach. We highly recommend you to hit subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you may not miss our future videos. Let's discuss now the leading causes of obesity. Well, obesity is one of the biggest health problems in the world. It's associated with several related conditions, collectively known as metabolic syndrome. These include high blood pressure, elevated blood sugar and a poor blood lipid profile. People with metabolic syndrome are at a much higher risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes, compared to those whose weight is in a normal range. Over the past decades, much research has focused on the causes of obesity and how it could be prevented or treated. For those who are willing to lose weight, without exercise or walking, I have free health tips for you. Just click the link in the description below. You will get all the information free that how to decrease weight by increasing the metabolism of your body. Obesity and willpower. Many people seem to think that weight gain and obesity are caused by a lack of willpower. That's not entirely true. Although weight gain is largely a result of eating behavior and lifestyle, some people are at a disadvantage when it comes to controlling their eating habits. The thing is, overeating is driven by various biological factors like genetics and hormones. Certain people are simply predisposed to gaining weight. Of course, people can overcome their genetic disadvantages by changing their lifestyle and behavior. Lifestyle changes require willpower, dedication and perseverance. Nevertheless, claims that behavior is purely a function of willpower is far too simplistic. They don't take into account all the other factors that ultimately determine what people do and when they do it. Here are 9 factors that are leading causes of weight gain, obesity and metabolic disease, many of which have nothing to do with willpower. Number 1 is genetics. Obesity has a strong genetic component. Children of obese parents are much more likely to become obese than children of lean parents. That doesn't mean that obesity is completely predetermined. What you eat can have a major effect on which genes are expressed and which are not. Non-industrialist societies rapidly become obese when they start eating a typical Western diet. Their genes didn't change, but the environment and the signals they sent to their genes did. Put simply, genetic components do affect your susceptibility to gaining weight. Studies on identical twins demonstrate this very well. Some people appear to be genetically susceptible to weight gain and obesity. Number 2. Engineered junk foods. Heavily processed foods are often little more than refined ingredients mixed with additives. These products are designed to be cheap, last long on the shelf and taste so incredibly good that they are hard to resist. By making foods as tasty as possible, food manufacturers are trying to increase sales, but they also promote overeating. Most processed foods today don't resemble whole foods at all. These are highly engineered products, designed to get people hooked. Stores are filled with processed foods that are hard to resist. These products also promote overeating. Number 3. Food addiction. Many sugar-sweetened, high-fat junk foods stimulate the reward centers in your brain. In fact, these foods are often compared to commonly abused drugs like alcohol, cocaine, nicotine and cannabis. Junk foods can cause addiction in susceptible individuals. These people lose control over their eating behavior, similar to people struggling with alcohol addiction losing control over their drinking behavior. Addiction is a complex issue that can be very difficult to overcome. When you become addicted to something, you lose your freedom of choice and the biochemistry in your brain starts calling the shots for you. Some people experience strong food cravings or addiction. This especially applies to sugar-sweetened, high-fat junk foods which stimulate the reward centers in the brain. Number 4. Aggressive marketing. Junk food producers are very aggressive marketers. Their tactics can get unethical at times, and they sometimes try to market very unhealthy products as healthy foods. These companies also make misleading claims. What's worse, they target their marketing specifically towards children. In today's world, children are becoming obese, diabetic and addicted to junk foods long before they're old enough to make informed decisions about these things. Food producers spend a lot of money marketing junk food, sometimes specifically targeting children, who don't have the knowledge and experience to realize they are being misled. Number 5 is insulin. Insulin is a very important hormone that regulates energy storage, among other things. One of its functions is to tell fat cells to store fat and to hold on to the fat they already carry. The Western diet promotes insulin resistance in many overweight and obese individuals. This elevates insulin levels all over the body, causing energy to get stored in fat cells instead of being available for use. While insulin's role in obesity is controversial, several studies suggest that high insulin levels have a causal role in the development of obesity. One of the best ways to lower your insulin is to cut back on simple or refined carbohydrates while increasing fiber intake. This usually leads to an automatic reduction in calorie intake and effortless weight loss, no calorie counting or portion control needed. 8 trusted source, 9 trusted source. High insulin levels and insulin resistance are linked to the development of obesity. To lower insulin levels, reduce your intake of refined carbs and eat more fiber. Number 6. Leptin resistance. Leptin is another hormone that plays an important role in obesity. It is produced by fat cells and its blood levels increase with higher fat mass. For this reason, leptin levels are especially high in people with obesity. In healthy people, high leptin levels are linked to reduced appetite. When working properly, it should tell your brain how high your fat stores are. The problem is that leptin isn't working as it should in many obese people, because for some reason it cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. This condition is called leptin resistance and is believed to be a leading factor in the pathogenesis of obesity. Leptin, an appetite-reducing hormone, doesn't work in many obese individuals. Number 7. Food availability. Another factor that dramatically influences people's waistline is food availability, which has increased massively in the past few centuries. Food, especially junk food, is everywhere now. Shops display tempting foods where they are most likely to gain your attention. Another problem is that junk food is often cheaper than healthy, whole foods, especially in America. Some people, especially in poorer neighborhoods, don't even have the option of purchasing real foods, like fresh fruit and vegetables. Convenience stores in these areas only sell sodas, candy and processed, packaged junk foods. In some areas, finding fresh, whole foods may be difficult or expensive, leaving people no choice but to buy unhealthy junk foods. Number 8. Sugar. Added sugar may be the single worst aspect of the modern diet. That's because sugar changes the hormones and biochemistry of your body when consumed in excess. This, in turn, contributes to weight gain. Added sugar is half glucose, half fructose. People get glucose from a variety of foods, including starches, but the majority of fructose comes from added sugar. Excess fructose intake may cause insulin resistance and elevated insulin levels. It also doesn't promote satiety in the same way glucose does. For all these reasons, sugar contributes to increased energy storage and, ultimately, obesity. Scientists believe that excessive sugar intake may be one of the main causes of obesity. Number 9. Misinformation. People all over the world are being misinformed about health and nutrition. There are many reasons for this, but the problem largely depends on where people get their information from. Food companies also play a role. Some promote products, such as weight loss supplements, that do not work. Weight loss strategies based on false information can hold back your progress. It's important to choose your sources well. While you can't fully control the way your body works, you can learn how to control your eating habits and change your lifestyle. Unless there is some medical condition getting in your way, it is within your power to control your weight. The fact is that modern eating habits and food culture must be changed to be able to reverse this problem on a global scale. The impact of obesity on your body and health. Obesity is when your body has too much fat. Obesity can cause a lot of damage to your body. People with severe obesity are more likely to have other diseases. These include type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, and many more. Combined with obesity, these diseases may lead people to have a lower quality of health. In some cases, these can lead to disability or early death. Obesity is a major cause of type 2 diabetes. People affected by obesity or severe obesity are about 10 times more likely to have type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes can nearly double the risk of death. Type 2 diabetes can lead to amputations, heart disease, stroke, blindness, kidney disease, high blood pressure, circulatory and nerve defects, hard-to-heal infections, impotence and more. Obesity is a major risk factor for high blood pressure, also known as hypertension. About 3 out of 4 hypertension cases are related to obesity. Hypertension increases the risk of other diseases. These include coronary heart disease, congestive heart failure, stroke, and kidney disease. Heart disease kills about 600,000 people every year in the United States. The American Heart Association considers obesity a major risk factor for heart disease. Large studies show that the risk for heart disease increases with obesity. People with severe obesity are at a higher risk for coronary artery disease. This means they have a higher risk of a heart attack. Respiratory disorders. People with obesity have reduced lung capacity. These people are at high risk for respiratory infections. They are more likely to have asthma and other respiratory disorders. Asthma has been shown to be 3 to 4 times more common among people with obesity. More than half of those affected by obesity, around 50 to 60%, have obstructive sleep apnea. A person with obstructive sleep apnea may have hundreds of apnea episodes each night. Apnea episodes reduce the amount of oxygen in a person's blood. Obstructive sleep apnea may lead to high blood pressure, pulmonary hypertension, and heart failure. Obstructive sleep apnea can cause sudden cardiac death and stroke. Because apnea episodes interrupt the normal sleep cycle, you may not reach restful sleep. This can lead to fatigue and drowsiness. If untreated, this drowsiness may raise your risk of motor vehicle accidents. Cancer affects more than 500,000 lives per year in the United States alone. Obesity is believed to cause up to 90,000 cancer deaths per year. As body mass index, BMI, increases, so does your risk of cancer and death from cancer. These cancers include endometrial cancer, cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, postmenopausal breast cancer, colorectal cancer, esophageal cancer, pancreatic cancer, gallbladder cancer, liver cancer, kidney cancer, thyroid cancer, prostate cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, multiple myeloma, leukemia. For people with severe obesity, the death rate increases for all types of cancer. The death rate is 52% higher for men and 62% higher for women. Cerebrovascular disease and stroke. Obesity puts a strain on your whole circulatory system. This strain increases your risk for stroke. Obesity can lead to other stroke risk factors. Stroke risk factors include heart disease, metabolic syndrome, hypertension, lipid abnormalities, type 2 diabetes and obstructive sleep apnea. Gastroesophageal reflux disease. Gastroesophageal reflux disease causes stomach acid or intestinal secretions to leak into your esophagus. Common GERD symptoms include heartburn, indigestion, throwing up food, coughing especially at night, hoarseness, and belching. Between 10% and 20% of the general population experience GERD symptoms regularly. Obesity has been associated with higher risk of GERD, erosive esophagitis and rarely, esophageal cancer. Bone/joint damage and accidents. Obesity, in particular severe obesity, contributes to a number of bone and joint issues. These issues can increase the risk for accidents and personal injury. Bone and joint issues can include joint diseases, osteoarthritis, gout, disc herniation, spinal disorders, back pain, pseudotumor cerebri, a condition associated with disorientation, headache, and visual impairment. Other conditions include Alzheimer's disease. Studies find that obesity during middle age may contribute to conditions that increase the risk for dementia and Alzheimer's disease later in life. Kidney disease, hypertension, type 2 diabetes and congestive heart failure are major contributors to kidney disease and kidney failure. All of these conditions are caused or made worse by obesity. Suicide. Studies have shown a correlation between severe obesity and major depressive disorder. Physical and social discrimination issues surrounding obesity may contribute to this depression. Studies are mixed on whether obesity is associated with higher suicide rates. However, most studies seem to suggest lower rates of suicide in people with obesity. Septicemia. Septicemia is a serious infection that can quickly lead to septic shock and death. Studies have shown that people affected by obesity, particularly severe obesity, are at high risk of septicemia. Liver disease. Obesity is the major cause for fatty liver and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Most people with severe obesity have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Fatty liver disease can cause scarring of the liver, resulting in worsened liver function, and this can lead to cirrhosis and liver failure. The conditions related to obesity can be detrimental to your health. However, many of these complications can be avoided or cured through weight loss. In our next video, we will be discussing, in detail, the roots of obesity epidemic and measures to prevent it, as well as manage it, so make sure to subscribe our channel and hit the bell icon, so that you may not miss any of our future videos. We will be uploading videos on a regular basis. Take good care of yourself, stay safe, stay healthy always. Leave a comment and hit the like button, this will boost our efforts. Thanks in advance.